What's up, NBA fans? Welcome to this is episode 15 of King's Court. Round of applause. They didn't want to do it. They felt obligated. We have a good show for you this week. I'm your host, Andy. Along with me, I have Frank.
Yo, you know what we need to do is we need to get all the LeBron haters and all the LeBron lovers in one room and just let them kill each other so we don't got to listen to either one of them anymore.
I second that. Also, we have the always stylish Michael. I see we got the chin hair back, so it's not just the mustache anymore.
Yeah, no, I'm growing the awesome playoff beard for the Stanley Cup Finals. But I want to give a quick shout out to the people that I work with, and the fact that they blare all day is the Migos No Label Volume 2 mixtape. It's starting to grow on me. I actually listened to it by myself without other people around. Not bad. It's got some catchy tunes. Freak No More is stuck in my head. So shout out to you guys, Migos. That's some catchy stuff.
Why does Michael always bring up things that nobody's ever heard of except for Michael?
Because it hasn't made its way up north yet. The Yankees are slow.
I guess not. And my shout out is to Google Plus for not working properly for me this morning, as I was gonna hashtag RIP Miami Heat because it is over. It's over. It's over. I can't stress it enough. If you put LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Adolf Hitler, Donald Sterling, and Barack Obama in the same starting five, who gets the hate?
LeBron James.
I don't know. That's a tough call.
Okay, so let's kick off this show. I mean, we'll start right with what happened last night, Game 4, the Miami Heat at home after losing Game 3 at home. And the Spurs come in there and blow their doors off again, 107-86. You know, the worst part is like LeBron James looked good, even though he's getting all the blame. But the Heat, offensively, defensively, they can't do anything. We'll go to Frank first because Frank kind of expected this, I think. He had Spurs. Ride or die.
I did. Peep the hashtag. The San Antonio Dragos will break you because they're robotic. Like, that's all they do. They just run their system. The ball movement was just beautiful. Anybody that says that watching the San Antonio Spurs is boring, like, I don't even want to talk to you about basketball. You could just
get in your spaceship and go.
Go away. Just keep watching during the playoffs or wherever the hell you do. We don't want to talk to you. But it was just a beautiful display of basketball. I mean, unselfishness, and it's not LeBron's fault. I mean, you can't do it alone. Like, he's literally trying to do it alone. He scored 19 points in the third quarter. The team scored 21. There's only 2 points not scored by LeBron James in the third quarter. And he's trying to get the team back into the game after the first half. But it's just really, they're outgunned. I mean, that's really what it is. It's Dwayne Wade either looks injured, and I don't know why, because this is like the first series he's played in the playoffs. He didn't break a sweat against the Bobcats, and he didn't break a sweat against the Nets, and he might have played 2 games against the Pacers. You know what I mean? So, I mean, he has really no excuse to be injured. They've been monitoring his minutes all season, really. Chris Bosh, for some reason, I don't know what's going on with Bosh. It's like they're not getting him involved, and he's not being aggressive enough. He was aggressive in the first half yesterday, but then he just everybody disappeared. When you're depending on Rashard Lewis to be your second best player on the team, not a winning formula, especially when you're the 2-time defending champions. So I mean, I knew this was going to happen just because of what happened last year. I just think the Spurs have that extra motivation. I did not think they were going to come out in Game 4 right after they embarrassed them in Game 3 and duplicate that. I don't think anybody saw that coming.
Well, and the Heat don't lose back-to-back in the playoffs. Like, it hasn't happened in years. So that's a statement. I mean, I guess with a stat like that, it's bound to happen sooner rather than later. So I think people put a little too much stock into that. But, it is a streak, and the streak is over. Before we go to Michael real quick, I do want to point out, kind of touch on what Frank was saying a little bit. But also, RIP to Dwayne Wade, because he's done as well. The Heat, aside from LeBron James, because he was 10 of 17, which is admirable. I mean, 4 of 8 from 3, 4 of 6 from the line, 28 points. But Rashard Lewis, 1 of 4. Bosh was the only other person who was halfway decent. I mean, 5 of 11 isn't terrible. Wade was 3 of 13. RIP, Dwayne Wade, you're done. 2 of 6 for Chalmers. Ray Allen was 3 of 6. I mean, 1 of 4 for Birdman. Bettier got a shot that he missed. Awful. I mean,
I have a follow-up question, Michael. If you want to answer the original question, then answer this after. Like, if you're the Miami Heat this season, do you even sign Dwayne? Like, if Dwayne Wade opts out, I don't even know if I offer him more than $10 million. I think I'd offer him the mid-level exception, and hope. No, I'm serious. I'm serious. He's not a max player anymore. He's not a $10 million player.
In a perfect world, Santos, you're right. But he's getting money. Somebody's squeezing the bank for him. I don't think he'll get a max deal, but I mean, he's going to get money. But I do totally agree with you. I mean, mid-level exception, it's never going to happen, but it's too early in the game, I think, still. Michael, go ahead with the original, and you can go ahead on Frank's, too.
Game 4 reactions. That's what we were supposed to be discussing. My Game 4 reaction was simply this. Ha, ha, ha. I love it. I love it.
What a prick.
I saw this coming last season. Right after the NBA Finals was over, you know, everybody was like, all right, sweet, 2 straight, yeah. And I'm like, all right, well, now they need to make moves. So I was waiting, you know, for them to make a move. And everything was going great this season, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, what happens? You got a guy. Actually, no, let me take that back. You've got 2 guys who have combined the 4 worst knees on the planet. I mean, they're Major League Baseball catchers whose career has been ended by knee injuries, who have better knees than both Dwayne Wade and Greg Oden. You have aging. I don't even know what Shane Battier is anymore. You have a basket case in Mario Chalmers. I mean, so far, you guys have the breakfast club of the NBA in Dade County right now. And then you've got a guy who has just completely gone full circle and Rhined himself and has the entire basketball world on his shoulders. Look, I get the fact that everybody's all wrapped up in the big 3. I get that. And I have come to the conclusion that despite all of the hate, LeBron James is going to be one of those players that's going to be mentioned with the Jordans, with the Kobes, with the Wilt Chamberlains, with the Kareems, the Magics. He's going to be mentioned as a great. But to me, the most disgusting sight that I saw from last night was how empty that arena was. Not even, and the shellacking wasn't even over yet, and the arena was all but bare. That is disgusting. Look at me, Miami Heat fans, right here. I'm up close right now.
Look at me, King.
I do not have a problem with the majority of people who are NBA fans saying that they're LeBron James fans. I don't have a problem with that. That's cool. He's a fantastic player. I have a problem with you associating yourself with the Miami Heat and calling yourself Heat fans. Where were you in the 90s when Alonzo Mourning was throwing stuff down by himself? You were nowhere. You showed it last night with an empty-ass...
Tim Hardaway was suiting up. Where were you?
Nowhere.
Michael, and, you know, to quote the great Sam Cooke, change gonna come. The Heat have to make a move. I mean, there's a series of moves.
I mean, I think the one move
is shrewd enough that he's going to make a move. Would you agree with that, Frank?
Yeah, I mean, I think the one rumored move that I think I would be in favor of is if they moved the team to Boca Raton and they just retired altogether because they're so old. But
yes.
But yeah, you're right. You're right. They have to make some kind of move. I don't know if it's Melo. We're going to get to that in a little bit, the whole Melo thing, but they got to make some kind of move. I mean, to me, I already mentioned that I think it starts with playing hardball with Dwayne Wade. If they opt out, I think Dwayne Wade opts in now because I think he knows he's not worth
$20 million. He's out.
Yeah, but I mean, they gotta make some kind of move, and I think the most tradable asset, if everybody opts in, is Chris Bosh. I mean, I think he's the most movable piece that they have. So I think he might be the one on the trading block. But yeah, they need some kind of change, and I agree with Michael. I thought that I was saying that last season after they won. It was we all know they should not have won that series against the Spurs. Like it is a well-known fact that they got lucky and won.
But I ain't taking it from them.
If one basket go 2 baskets, if 1 or 2 basket goes in Game 2, this series is over.
You know what I compare?
They were 2 points away from winning this series. It's ridiculous. I mean, and it baffles me that this big 3 concept. This is the flaw right now. They got beat by a team.
They did.
A team.
But to be fair though, the Spurs were lighting everybody up. Like I mean,
Oh yeah.
when were the Spurs challenged? Like the games they've been winning throughout the playoffs, they killed people.
This is not, to me, the finals have been more about what the San Antonio Spurs have done than what the Miami Heat haven't done. I don't think any team in the league would stand a chance against the Spurs right now. The way they're playing, I think they would run through the other 28 teams. I think they would sweep them. I mean, I just think they're playing that well. You know what I compare last year's Miami Heat to? You know how they talk about basketball as a make or miss league. Sometimes you can play bad defense, but a team just misses a shot. And that's honestly what happened.
Or make a shot, or both.
Right. And that's what happened last year with the Heat. Like, they didn't win because they were the better team. They got lucky, and I don't take it away from them. I mean, a ring's a ring, but that doesn't mean that you didn't have changes that you needed to make, and they didn't do it, and now they're suffering the consequences.
So let's end this real quick, and I just want to say, before we go to the next topic, which is still a Miami Heat topic, essentially, I want to say that people on the internet, you're killing me. Ray Allen is not Ray Allen. He's not the Ray Allen who got himself into the Hall of Fame at this point. Not even close. Like there's no resemblance of that Ray Allen left. I mean, that player is gone 4 years ago.
Hey,
so
shout out to Ray Allen for being a South Carolina native. So
I mean, he could still make the three. I mean, that's why he's there. But he's not. People are acting like he's 22 points a game, Ray Allen. Like that's not this guy anymore.
Playing beside Michael Redd, Ray Allen.
Yeah, this isn't the Milwaukee Bucks or the Supersonics or even the Boston Celtics, Ray Allen. This is a role player who might play 15 to 20 minutes a game, stand in the corner and make some threes, like the big shot he made last year. So let's jump into more Miami Heat talk. This is involving another superstar, another 2003 drafted alum, Carmelo Anthony, and the ridiculous chatter that he's going to end up in South Beach with Wade, Bosh, and LeBron. And I'm saying to you guys, how is this even possible? Michael.
God, I hope not. I mean, the whole time, we were having discussions about this earlier, and the whole time I'm sitting here going, the NBA is going to lose a ton of fans for that. But then I had a conversation with another Sports Kings writer saying that everybody's going to tune in just to see what happens to the Heat when they fall flat on their asses. And I get the concept, like I said earlier. I get the concept of the Big Three. I get the fact that people were doing it long before this in the 80s, paying for players to come. It was all about the Celtics and the Lakers in the 80s, and in the 90s it was Jordan and Pippen and four other guys like Horace Grant. Nobody cares who Horace Grant is anymore, but I know you do, Andy. He was in Orlando Magic. It almost seems, and I went to college with his nephew. Jere's a good guy, but it almost seems like the concept of the Big Three has become like the biggest irony in sports, almost like on a hipster level of irony. When it first happened in 2008, or when the Celtics did it, it was like, oh, this is going to be cool. Yeah, I'm a Celtics fan now. Yeah, okay. Those same Celtics fans are Heat fans now. It's so cool to have a Big Three that it's so uncool to have a Big Three. And now you're going to have a Big Four? No. Who's going to distribute the ball to Carmelo Anthony? You've got LeBron James, who's already taking shots. Dwayne Wade's not going to distribute that ball on those knees. And Chris Bosh is going to be Chris Bosh. Who's going to distribute the ball to a ball hog like Carmelo Anthony, who has no concept of a team game? And that's what you need right now with this Big Three is a team. You've got all these great players. But to quote the late, great Herb Brooks, you think you can win on talent alone? Gentlemen, you don't have enough talent to win on talent alone.
I mean, the Heat, though, I still say mission successful. They 4 straight championships, games, finals played in. They won 2 of them. To me, I don't care if they said, because everybody's always going to judge it based off the fact that not 3, not 4, 26 titles. But that was always unrealistic to me. I mean, whenever you think you're going to win more than 2 titles, I think you're setting a completely outrageous goal. So I think winning 2 titles to me is mission complete, successful. Santos, what do you think about this Carmelo stuff?
I honestly think it's a lot more likely than most people think. I don't think it's completely impossible. People just are dismissing it, but the numbers aren't that bad. I mean, I think it's each player would be getting $14 million a year because the Heat literally have a whole the only salaries that they have next year are the Big Three if they were to all opt out, then obviously they can get new contracts. Udonis Haslem has a player option, and then they're giving Birdman $1.5 million, Norris Cole $2 million, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, they have the means to just basically build a big four and then just sign a bunch of minimum player guys. I don't know honestly how it would work. Mark Evans, another writer for Pass the Pill, brought up that maybe like a player like Luol Deng would actually be a better fit than Carmelo Anthony because he's a defender. He doesn't need as many shots. I don't buy this thing either that people wouldn't watch and people would just start.
But don't you think
it's
it's less about the fit at this point? Because it seems to me like if you're players, the fit almost doesn't matter. Because to me, why do you need another scorer?
Right. Yeah. I mean, if it's me and I'm thinking like, if you think Carmelo Anthony is a great player, is like a top 10 player in this league, which I do.
Yeah.
I think you sign him and you worry about fitting later. Like you just worry about how it's going to work out later. Because I mean, I think LeBron James is a passer first. He could basically be the point guard on that team and get Carmelo Anthony, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade shots. And if ideally what you're looking for is you want Dwayne Wade to basically buy into the Manu Ginobili role. You say, all right, listen, Chris Bosh, Carmelo Anthony, and LeBron James, they're going to carry us. You're going to come in 6-man, maybe you start, but you play with the second unit a lot, and you're just going to roll with that second unit, and you're going to carry that second unit for us. I mean, I think if they sign Carmelo Anthony, I would think the Heat are the favorites to win the championship for the next 3 years. But I don't think it's going to happen just because I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's more likely than people think. But I think Melo wants to do his own thing. I think one thing that we've seen from Melo, the reason why he got out of Denver to go to New York is because he wanted his own spot in the spotlight and try to get a championship. So I don't think he's going to go to Miami and do all that. I think he might go to Chicago. That's where I think Melo's going to end up, is in Chicago.
And before we let Michael rant here, I just, concerning the money, if between those four players, what they're all, going to make next year, say they all opt in, you're talking $85 million, roughly. So, I mean, Frank, you said 14, which I was thinking about 12. So we're pretty much on the same track here.
Right.
If you talk 14, you're talking less than $60 million. Carmelo would be walking away from like $10 million if he took 14.
Yeah, Melo would be the one losing the most money. Because
Absolutely.
Not only is he going to a different team, he's not signing for a max deal either with that new team. So now you're losing another year and you're losing money. So that's really the person that's losing the most.
And if you look at the Bulls, they're going to say we can offer you way more than $14 million or $12 million, and you probably have just as good of a chance to win. So
right.
I don't know, Michael. Sound off.
I have to agree with you guys on that one about him going to Chicago with that, because then you would assumably get a healthy Derrick Rose back, somebody who can distribute Melo the ball, something that he has not had in his New York career. He may have had it in Denver. I don't know. I can't think back that far.
I don't think he really ever had it in Denver either.
No.
Really,
So I mean, and he wouldn't even have it. Like I said, he wouldn't have it in Miami. Yeah, LeBron James could be the point guard, but it's LeBron James. You're really going to diminish that guy's role like that because you're going to bring in another guy who was drafted behind him in 2003?
Well, I think what Frank was saying is you're not really diminishing LeBron's role. I think that Melo kind of works with LeBron. I think people don't understand that because they can both play the 3 or the 4. Well, I mean, LeBron can play all 5 positions, but I think that helps LeBron. Yeah. But I think I'm kind of with Frank. I think Dwayne Wade loses out the most if Melo goes to Miami.
Yeah, I think Wade loses out the most. And, I mean, that's what LeBron does now for the Heat. I mean, he's basically the point guard. He handles the ball. It's not like Mario Chalmers is bringing the ball up. Mario Chalmers needs to, go somewhere. He just needs to retire.
He's good at basketball. Okay, Michael, we've interrupted you enough.
That's okay, guys. Any and all, it's all good.
We're excited.
It just seems like, hey, I have no problem with that. You should have seen me with our This Week in Sports show. Which, by the way, that was a fun time. But I'm getting off track here. Yeah, I have no problems with Melo going to the United Center to play with Derrick Rose and to play with Carlos Boozer. I think that would be a great fit for him. Now, the only problem with that is, can Tom Thibodeau teach an old dog a new trick, and that's defense. We'll see.
I don't think he needs to.
Really?
Carmelo can be the one guy not playing defense. Hey, you go down there and score baskets. That's all you need to do. Everybody else plays defense?
You never know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he would need to play some defense, but
well, I mean, he's going to need to play
it's
a little bit. He
I
played a
think
little
it's
bit this year.
not going to just not play defense.
I think it's a little bit of a I think Melo gets unfairly criticized for his defense sometimes. Like I know he's not a great defender, but he's not James Harden.
Well, yeah, he does try. That's the difference. Harden doesn't
he's
try.
better than James Harden on defense. Like people try to put him in the James Harden class of defense. I think he's better than that. No, he's not a great defender, but
Yo, I could D up Shaquille O'Neal better than James Harden could D me up. And I have no handles.
I'm white, and I could do that. You know, I mean.
Uh-oh, here we go. You played the white card. So
yeah, and see how pale I am right now. This
you look paler than me, which is crazy. So let's
and you're Irish.
Let's jump into another. Since we're talking about stars or superstars and Carmelo Anthony who haven't had a chance to win yet. Let's talk about a guy who hasn't even had a chance to make the playoffs yet. And Kevin Hart sounded like he was coming straight off of a Drake album, saying it hurts his heart and stuff like that. It hurts his head. I don't remember what the exact quote was, but I could find it.
Kevin
He said,
Hart, the comedian?
You meant Kevin Love.
Kevin Love, I'm sorry.
No,
It hurts his heart. He said, at the end of the day, I've played 6 seasons, haven't made the playoffs yet. That burns me and hurts my heart. So he was, and then the next line was, just hold on. Never mind.
We're going home.
What do you guys think about these comments now? We've already speculated, where Kevin Love could possibly go. Do these comments kind of further the case that Kevin Love is just waiting for the bus to roll up and pick him up? Frank?
Yeah. I think Kevin Love's going to go to Los Angeles and tell Kobe that he loves him enough for the both of us. That's another Drake reference. But anyway, I just think I think it's over. Honestly, I'm getting a little tired of Kevin Love at this point in the media and all his stuff. Like he's sounding a little Dwight Howard-ish.
Yeah,
it's getting in the Dwight Howard area. It's not quite there yet, but it's like the next stop on the bus is like Dwight Howard Station. But I think he's definitely gone. Just the way that he's talking, he's referring to the Minnesota Timberwolves as they. Like in the past tense, like, we had a good time together kind of thing. But, I mean, if you're Kevin Love, don't you have to look in the mirror a little bit? Like, whose fault is it that you haven't made the playoffs in all your 6 years? You're supposed to be the best player on the team. The Minnesota Timberwolves
You're supposed to be a top 10 player in the league.
Right. The Minnesota Timberwolves, it's not like they're sporting out like the LeBron Cleveland supporting cast there. I mean, they got players. Like Kevin Martin's a good player. Pekovic is a good player. Rubio
18 points a game for Pekovic.
Rubio's declined, but he's still he's still a starting point guard in this league. Like it's not they have pieces. They have
he's
enough
still
talent.
One of the best passers in the league. I mean, that's what you need if you're a scorer like Kevin Love, isn't it?
Right.
I mean,
they have enough talent to be a playoff team.
They
So
do.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's what's happening is and I don't watch enough Timberwolves basketball to know, but it seems to a degree like Love is just putting up numbers and he's not helping his team win certain games. And I mean, it could just be 4 or 5 games, but that's the difference between a playoff spot and sitting at home.
especially in the West.
Yeah, and I mean, if I'm Kevin Love, I think it's almost too late. Like, I don't think that the relationship can be repaired. So if I'm Kevin Love, the other thing I want to do is I want to go East. Like, I'm looking at that Eastern Conference with the Miami Heat falling apart and the Indiana Pacers falling apart, and I'm saying I can make the playoffs there. Like, just Kevin Love on a team could probably be a top 6 team in the East right now. So I think it's definitely over. And Kevin Love, you just need to fall back. Be quiet.
All right, Michael, get him.
You guys remember a couple weeks ago when we were talking about where's Kevin Love going to go? And I think Frank and I both decided that he was going to go to the Washington Wizards. We just couldn't really figure out the pieces and the financial reasons, which is why we sit in these chairs and GMs get paid buku dolores up in DC and wherever to do that job. If he goes to DC eventually, if he hops on that bus that everybody keeps talking about and goes to DC, he's already playoff bound right there. So hey, Kevin, why not, man? But look, the real sad thing is I think people are starting to realize now that maybe Kevin Love is not going to be that guy that's going to win a championship by himself. Maybe he needs some help. Maybe he's not that guy that's able to make a player better or players in general around him better. And it's not all, it's not all the players' fault. I mean, gotta blame the GM just a little bit. Yeah, they've got players, but in a Western Conference that gets stronger every hour, it seems like. It almost seems like in a small market that is Minnesota, they're not wanting to spend a lot of money. And I get that. But you got to spend money to make money. Yes, Kevin Love should get some of the blame. Yes, Flip Saunders kind of gets a little bit of the blame because Flip is a veteran coach. And according to Kevin Love, him and Flip have a great relationship. But if you keep sparking about I want to win, I want to make the playoffs, I want to do this, I want to do that, Flip Saunders is going to hit you with a baseball bat, man. Oh. You can't put yourself on a pedestal that's bigger than your entire team.
I don't think Flip's got that in him.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you just turn Flip into like Nicky from Casino?
You hit Nicky with the fist, he's going to come back here with the bat. You hit Nicky with a bat, he's going to come at you with a gun. You hit Nicky with a gun, you better kill him because he's going to come at you again.
You missed the knife part. You missed the knife part.
Nobody cares about the knife.
You know, I care about the knife.
You don't bring a knife to a gunfight.
Another thing I care about is the fact that Kevin Love is pulling the Dwight Howard. That was a good analogy, Frank. I think the difference is Dwight Howard was in Orlando winning 50-plus games, going to the playoffs, the finals, and he still did that. At least Kevin Love, you know, we can back him a little because Minnesota stinks. But, you know, Love's basically saying Frankie pointed that out, he doesn't like ice fishing and snow and junk. He's like, this Spanish dude can't shoot jump shots, and he's gone. I mean, he went to
UCLA. The Los Angeles Lakers are looking for a free agent. Kobe's over there ready. Kobe's there ready to kill somebody. So, I mean,
he's going to a large market. That's the only thing that I think sinks that Wizards thing, because I did tell you guys that I do like that concept, but I feel like he was talking about like the Knicks. Like anybody would want to play in New York. Yeah, so I don't know that they can make it work, but there's Boston.
Yeah, but is he going to fit the triangle that Derek Fisher's going to want to run? I mean,
yeah, I mean, why not? I could fit Kevin Love into a trade.
You know, to a degree too. I think Kevin Love is getting a little excited about the prospect of free agency, and I think like any player, like any person, you know, he's seeing all these people that want him, you know, and everybody wants to be wanted. So he's kind of like flirting with the Knicks a little bit, saying he'd love to play in New York, going to Boston, you know. Even though people made way too much out of his trip to Boston, like it was like he was having some backroom mini with Danny Ainge or something.
NBA players are friends. He and Rondo probably were friends before the fact.
I'm sure he knew that him going to Boston might raise a couple of flags, and I'm sure he wasn't upset about it. You know, he's just kind of playing the field almost. He's like a new hot chick on the market, newly single. He's just playing the field a little bit, seeing what's going on.
That's what I would do. Like a Barney Stinson sociopath level over here, man. Tone it down a little bit.
I'm the same thing, though, because everybody wants to be wanted. Like, no, you know what I mean? Like, even if you're not going to do it, it's like the married guy who goes in the bar and slips his wedding ring off. You know, not because he's going to hook up with a girl or take her home, just because he wants to be flirted with. He wants to flirt back. It's his night out. Let's go to this last topic. Everybody seemed to like this a couple weeks ago when we did it, and this was be a GM, our closing topic now. We brought you our scenarios for Kevin Love last time. I kind of want to talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder this week. We've spoken about this a little bit. Get the trade machine gears turning here. The Oklahoma City Thunder. You have to turn the corner here a little bit if you're going to do with your franchise. So I asked the guys to come up with some sort of move this before next season starts, so this offseason, that will, you know, put this team ahead, make this team be able to beat the Spurs. Because obviously if they could beat the Spurs, they might be able to beat the Heat and win an NBA championship. So what did you guys come up with? Michael, we'll go to you first. What did you come up with in terms of what the Oklahoma City Thunder can?
Well, since you kind of shot down my Spencer Hawes idea, I kind of had to scramble a little bit.
But I don't see him as a difference maker.
Well, I get that, but you know,
this is your pick. Don't let me change your mind.
Well, here's why I kind of I don't want to have. I mean, I disagree with you in a way, but you guys remember, like I've said before, I'm only a 50% basketball fan, and that's when the Lakers aren't playing. I'm not watching basketball. I was looking at some of the stuff that Spencer Hawes did in Cleveland, and you know, I mean, he's a big guy. You know, he's kind of athletic, And he can shoot. He just found the 3-point shot. Like, I mean, how many 7-footers can shoot a three? You know, I mean,
he's better than you think he is.
Right.
Just by
right.
simply looking at
And
it.
with San Antonio abusing, I mean, just abusing Oklahoma City on the boards without Serge Ibaka, you need another guy to go in there. Now, whether it's, in a free agent class, in the draft somewhere, which apparently I need to do a better job of looking in from like 21 to 30 down on, trying to find a big man down there. But, obviously there's going to be there has to be some change. Like I said earlier, the Western Conference is changing by the hour, it seems like. And if you're going to keep up, you got to spend some money. Now, whether it's on a big man, maybe you try to bring in somebody and,
So what's your actual
Make us
move, though,
flash.
Michael?
My actual move was Spencer Hawes.
Just bringing in Spencer Hawes.
Bring in Spencer Hawes for one, and then, draft somebody who's going to be able to help Kevin Durant in a way that Russell Westbrook can't. Maybe try to trade up somehow. Maybe grab Michael Carter-Williams from Philadelphia if Philadelphia really wants to move him. The possibilities are endless. All I know is this. If a move doesn't get made and Oklahoma City stumbles again, some people are going to be losing some jobs.
For sure. Okay, so Michael went with signing Spencer Hawes in the offseason. That's his move to push the Thunder over the top. And again, I was saying, don't let me change your mind. If that's the move you want to make, that's the move you want to make. You're the GM, Michael.
And I'd be fired. I'd been fired 5 minutes after.
I think you might be fired. Frank, what was your move?
So I was going on the assumption that using a time machine, going back and not trading James Harden was not an option for the Be a GM segment, because that's what I would have done. But at this point, another unrealistic thing I would do is amnesty Kendrick Perkins, because he's useless. But for some reason, OKC loves Kendrick Perkins, so I realize that's not a realistic. That's not a realistic scenario. What's that?
I don't understand that either. Like, you know what I mean? I understand why you're saying it's not realistic because OKC has come out and said they're not going to do it. But, like, I don't understand why that's not a realistic option. That should be, if I was the general manager, that would be my first order of business.
Not only is Kendrick Perkins worthless, but he's making $9 million next season. Just so you know, Kendrick, while you're working your 9-to-5 job, trying to work hard and do your best to ring out people at McDonald's, Kendrick Perkins making $9 million. Just know that, people. Anyways, so if it were me, I would cut Kendrick Perkins and try and make a play for Luol Deng. My plan for half the league is sign Luol Deng. We've already established this.
We know.
But if we can't cut Kendrick Perkins, what I would do is, if you're OKC, you need to stop stocking up on young talent. Like, you need veterans. You need people that can make a difference right now. I don't want to see them use the 21st or the 29th pick. I want to see them package it, trade it. I know there was a rumor for the Knicks with Iman Shumpert. I would do that in a minute. I think Iman Shumpert would be great. He fits great with the OKC scheme. He likes to run. He's a young guy. He's a young guy, but he's old enough where he can make a difference on a playoff team right now.
Defense.
So, yes. And I would get Iman Shumpert. I would make a play for a veteran in the free agency market. If you can't have Luol Deng, the one name that came to mind for me is Shawn Marion. I think Shawn Marion is a very good player. He's a little past his prime. He's an upgrade over Caron Butler, I think, but he can still make a difference, and he plays defense. I think adding Shawn Marion, adding Iman Shumpert,
what they thought Caron Butler was going to do.
Right. So I think if you add players, it doesn't have to be Iman Shumpert and Shawn Marion, but if you add players like that, veterans who can make differences in the playoffs, stop stocking up on this young talent. You have an established base already. Like, you have Westbrook, you have Durant, for better or worse, like, that's your team. I don't think Rondo's a better fit in OKC than Westbrook is. I think he would have been if they still had Harden. So I would have traded Westbrook for Rondo if you still had Harden on the team. I think that's a better fit. Rondo, Harden, and Durant. I think that would be a great fit. But that train has passed. So get veterans and try and build a championship team.
Yeah, and you spoke a little about the picks, the draft picks, because I was thinking the same exact thing. If you look at it, the Thunder, I know people aren't really talking about it much right now because everybody's talking about, like, the top 10 of this draft so much. But there are some teams, like the Suns too, are another one. But I don't really want to get off track. They have the Thunder have the 21st pick, and then they have the 29th pick. So,
Right.
I mean, while those are later in the draft, this is a good draft. There's players there. Like I'm seeing some of these mock drafts. I've been doing some of these mock drafts, and I'm looking at the kind of talent they could get. So maybe if you package both of those two picks, there's teams that want those picks too. I mean, one guy I thought, and this wasn't my trade, but I kept thinking about how good Aaron Aflalo would look on the Thunder, just from a shooting standpoint, and he can play defense, and the guy can handle the ball in spurts too. I think that's valuable to them. So, Orlando would be interested in some of those picks, I do believe. And, maybe you could even convince a team like Orlando who's building to take the contract of a Kendrick Perkins, which will expire after next season. I'm not sure exactly if they would do it, but it's something that you could at least, talk about. So the first one I had that's kind of, is a little wacky, but I want to talk about it anyways, is this kind of touches on what Frank was talking about a little bit, because this is the Thunder kind of offloading some of those young pieces to get like a win now mentality, because it does seem like a team who's so far ahead of everybody else, as the Thunder are, keeps piling these young guys that, like, you're not at that point anymore. You were at that point 3 years ago. So I have a 3-team trade here. This is never going to happen. I mean, just keep this in mind. And it's probably got some holes in it, but I kind of like it. The Oklahoma City Thunder get Andrew Bogut, Iman Shumpert. The Golden State Warriors get Tyson Chandler, Jeremy Lamb, and the Knicks get Kendrick Perkins, his expiring contract. And remember, the Knicks are going to have Amari's contract coming off the same time as Perkins. They would get Harrison Barnes, Steven Adams, and Reggie Jackson. So that was my kind of like, let's reach real far off the wall a little bit. But, I mean, the money works, and I think every team gets something they need. So my real trade, though, because I'm going to live in the real world where I think it could actually happen, was still between the Thunder and the Knicks, and it was Tyson Chandler and Iman Shumpert for Perkins, Lamb, Steven Adams, and Reggie Jackson. I think you give the Knicks a bevy of young talent that could pan out. Reggie Jackson's ready right now. I think Adams could step in and be your starting center right away. Then you have Perkins expiring and Lamb to give you minutes off of the bench. And actually, Jeremy Lamb might be better than some of the guards they have in New York anyhow.
I like the concept of the trade. I actually think you're making OKC give up quite a lot. When I say get rid of your own assets, I think that's pretty much all of them that you just got rid of.
I was getting rid of everybody.
But no, I
think if you get Shumpert and Chandler, I think what you've done is you have Westbrook, Shumpert, Durant, Ibaka, and Chandler as your starting five. Worry about your bench later. That's my concept.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes complete sense. I think Reggie Jackson is a good player that has legitimate trade value in this league. I think you can get a future piece like you're saying. To me, I think you might be able to get that guy just for Reggie Jackson and a first-round pick alone. Like, I think if you were to trade Reggie Jackson and a first-round pick, I think you could get maybe even a Tyson Chandler just without.
Yeah, and I didn't even consider any of their 21st or their 29th picks. Like, they would be keeping those. So.
Right. So yeah, that's a great win now mentality. We're on the same page. It's a great win now mentality type of trade for OKC. I agree.
Swinging for the fences. And the Bogut thing too is I kind of think Bogut could step in if he's healthy, obviously, and be that.
Bogut's a big risk. That's the one thing
he is a big risk.
That's a big gamble.
His PER was like 17 a game last season while he was playing, obviously, which was better than Chandler's. So it's.
Yeah.
It's iffy.
Michael, did you have something to say?
Yes, I would like to amend my shitty decision of only bringing in Spencer Hawes. I want to nix that completely.
I actually like the Spencer Hawes. Don't feel bad. I like this. Okay,
I liked it too, but I think you needed something else.
Completely. I want to add to it because I don't want to get fired after one day. So I took what Frank said about the Iman Shumpert deal, kind of ran with it a little bit on the trade machine while you guys were fighting. I actually did include Jeremy Lamb in a deal and one of those first-round picks for Iman Shumpert. And then going after Greg Monroe from Detroit. Why not just to make a move? Greg Monroe. He's obviously not going to do anything in Detroit. Nobody's going to do anything in Detroit. We get that. But, I mean, you get a guy like Monroe. You get a guy like Greg Monroe who's still a young guy, but who's one of those power forwards that could eventually be, good, very good. I'm not going to call him great just yet, but he could be a very good power forward for you guys.
But he has to play center though in OKC because Ibaka's there, and I don't think Ibaka can play center. spreads the floor too much for them. I think it's too valuable.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. I did not think about
But
that.
I thought
It's
about
totally
him in row
possible.
two. I thought about
He
this.
could totally move over though. I mean, we don't know. This is again. This is why we do this, and they get paid to do that.
Yeah, I like the Greg Monroe move. Like from a personnel perspective, I just think realistically, I think he's going to get paid more than OKC can afford to give him.
Yeah, sure.
So I think he's going to be one of the. I think he's going to be one of the hotter commodities on the market.
I think any big trade they make, I think obviously has to involve them sending Perkins. That's why I think these teams like the Knicks or like I mentioned the Magic, somebody young and rebuilding would be more it'd be more easy to convince them to take on a guy like Kendrick Perkins.
Now that you say that, actually, one move that popped into my head is what about Thaddeus Young in Philadelphia? Philadelphia's rebuilding. They can take on Perkins. You give them a first-round pick. They got another building block. Thaddeus Young would be terrific.
What about Chris Bosh? Where's Chris Bosh at?
Get him. You know what name we're all forgetting, and I can understand why we're forgetting, and I was too selfish to forget this name because I kind of deep down I kind of want to keep him. How about Pau Gasol? That's a big splash.
I think he's too. I don't think he can run with OKC. I think that's the problem.
I think they need defense personally. That's why I kept going with Bogut and Chandler because I like a second defender in there with Ibaka. If you imagine Tyson Chandler and Serge Ibaka, who's scoring on that?
That's a two-man block party right there.
It's nuts. That's why I like Chandler so much in that fit. And we've seen Chandler. What's Chandler do? Chandler helps teams win championships. I mean, he did it for Dallas. So obviously it was 100 years ago at this point, but. All right, guys. I think it was a great show today. I love the GM part because it gets everybody's motor running here, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to urge you guys to hop on over to www.sports-kings.com. Check out our stuff. You can find articles written by everybody on the panel here for each of our shows. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave us some feedback. All of that stuff. Until next time, on behalf of myself, Frank, Michael, everybody at the SK Nation Network, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.